This video contains spoilers for the entire Kingdom Hearts series. The Kingdom Hearts series has become somewhat synonymous with having confusing story elements, the Heartless and Nobodies being a good example of this. Part of the reason is that these terms end up being a bit of a misnomer once certain information is revealed to characters and players over the course of the games. Heartless aren't actually heartless, they're just hearts that have been consumed by darkness, and Nobodies are beings that, while not actually having hearts, do have the capacity and potential to grow a new one, return to their original selves, or in special circumstances become a new person altogether. One of the more recent concepts that has thrown people for a loop, and is the topic of this video, is the introduction of an unreality existing in the series. At the end of Kingdom Hearts 3 Remind, we see the consequences of Sora misusing the power of waking and being completely removed from existence. It's later confirmed in Melody of Memory that he is now in an entirely separate reality from his original one. Today, we're going to go over all that we know about this, as while we don't know much, I believe we know enough to get a good understanding of just where the next phase of the games is going to kick off from. I'd like to start off by defining just what the difference is in what the characters know as reality versus unreality. Because there are so many different terms for how the worlds and realms are referred to, it can be difficult to understand how this is any different than just going to another Disney world or another realm. To do that, we need to simplify things a bit. For the remainder of the video, I'll refer to Sora's reality as Reality A and the unreality as Reality B. At the end of Melody of Memory, Ansem the Wise offers an explanation as to how their reality works and why it's different from Reality B. What he essentially says here is that every place you've explored in the games thus far, the realm of light with all of the Disney worlds, the realm of darkness where you saved Aqua, the realm of sleep or dreams where you saved the sleeping worlds, and so on, all exist within the same bubble, and that this bubble has a set of rules that it follows. Everything in this bubble is the makeup of Reality A, and while the methodology can vary between them, it's possible to reach each of these places through various means of travel. This is where Sora messes up, because he violated Reality A's rules, which could have potential side effects that we have yet to see. He was essentially kicked out of the bubble and thrown into the bubble of Reality B, which just so happens to be Yozora's reality. There's a lot we don't know about Yozora's reality, aside from the introduction of the city of Quadratum, but there are some facts that we can use to formulate a simple understanding of what exactly is happening here. If we base this off of Ansem's logic, Reality B exists in its own bubble completely separate from Reality A. This means that this bubble most likely has its own set of rules, and if the majority of the story takes place here, then we can expect a different set of Disney and original worlds that we've had yet to see. New concepts to introduce that are exclusive to this bubble, and so on. There are some other aspects of Reality B that we know of thus far. The first is that Ansem the Wise refers to it as a fictional world. As of the release of this video, we do not have a definitive explanation for referring to Reality B in this way. But if we observe the events that occurred during the visit to Toy Box, it makes a bit more sense to view this reality as fiction, because the only reference for it is a video game. Here's a contradiction. If we know about this reality through the form of a video game, and later through Riku's dreams, then why does the Master of Masters refer to it as a place even he couldn't conceive? The importance of the Disney worlds cannot be overstated. Many people tend to disregard the importance of the Disney worlds in the Kingdom Hearts series, but especially in Kingdom Hearts 3. From the advice Sora receives from Hercules at the beginning of the game to Pooh Bear, alluding to Sora's later disappearance and his loss of innocence as he grows and experiences different forms of trauma and loss, ultimately affecting the connection he has to his friends. There's never really a moment where they don't matter to the story. This couldn't be more true for Toy Box and the events that occurred there. Many of the events in that world had ripple effects through the rest of the game. But the main thing I'll be focusing on here is the fact that a video game of Yozora exists within this world. If Yozora exists in another reality where no voices or sight can reach, then how is it possible for this to exist, and in such detail? Rex is even aware of his comrades' names, Magia and Aegis, who he mistakes Donald and Goofy for. Although the scene was later cut from the final version of the game, you can still find it if you search online for the early demo footage. The only explanation available to us at the moment is the singular connection between both Sora's reality and Yozora's reality, and that is the final world. The first time Sora meets Chirithy, it's explained to him that the final world is the last stop for a heart before death, as they cling to life, and that the edges of sleep and death are so close to each other that they're all but touching. Because of this, Sora has visited the final world in his sleep before, meaning that it's possible for others to do the same. We also see that this is where Yozora and Sora first meet, and we learn that Yozora has heard of Sora as well. The final world seems to be the one thing that connects the two realities, and maybe even more than just these two. If you take the time during the moment where Sora initially needs to collect pieces of himself to talk to the stars floating around you, you'll be able to learn a bit about them. They're all people or beings that met their end in one way or another. If we refer back to what Chirithy states, their heart persisted beyond their death, and found their way there. And because it's usually hearts that end up finding their way there, what occurs in Melody of Memory is pretty much set from here. The next part is purely speculation, but if we look at the few facts we have, it begins to make some sense. As we learned, because Riku has a connection to Sora through his dreams, he's able to observe this reality that lies beyond sound and sight in a way no one in their bubble can. It stands to reason that he may not have been the only one to observe this reality, as we know that part of Xehanort's experiments included attempts to reach Reality B, and that the Master of Masters actually ended up doing it himself many years before this. The only other way I can think of for Yozora's existence to be known in Sora's reality is that someone would have had to have either dreamt of him and spread the word of his existence, or found another method of crossing between the bubbles of their realities. As of now, this is the only concrete method established to reach Yozora's reality. I would also like to note that Luxord is a factor here as well, although an unknown one, as it is his voice speaking to Yozora during the scene you get if you defeat him in battle. Lastly, something that only reinforces this theory further is the trailer we got for Kingdom Hearts 4. In it, it's revealed that Sora is now in the care of Strelitzia, a Keyblade wielder from the age of fairy tales. If you've played or watched the cutscenes from Union Cross, you'll know the significance she has on certain characters long since established in the story. The fact that she's here means that it's completely possible that people have been crossing back and forth between these two realities for many, many years. Now that we've established just what reality and unreality are, where does that leave us? At this point, we can truly only continue to speculate until we get more updates on future games. From what the Master said, this is a world ruled by neither light nor darkness, which makes one wonder if it has no ruler or if a new faction is in charge of this place. Because this is a new reality entirely, it should differ in some significant ways that set it apart from Sora's, and a change in the series formula could potentially be a good way to keep things interesting. I also believe that this will be rather different from the vast amount of multiverse stories we've gotten over the last few years as well. I didn't want to end off before at least mentioning it, but I don't really have much to say on that subject until we find out more about how this will all play out. For now, we'll simply have to continue to have patience as we wait for more information on the next game. Let me know what you think in the comments, and if you enjoyed the video, please give it a like and subscribe for more breakdowns of the Kingdom Hearts lore. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you next time.